music, dance, theater. It's time to take a seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez. Hear from performers, producers, presenters, and creators who enrich our lives in the performing arts. Who's on stage? Here is Tom Alvarez to introduce you.
Hello, and welcome to On the Aisle with yours truly, Tom Alvarez. My guests on today's show are popular indie performers, husband and wife Rob and Jen Johansen. Jen, an actor, recently made her directing debut, and Rob, an actor, director, fight choreographer, and educator, is also a passionate animal advocate. Join me now as I go on the aisle for my conversation with Jen and Rob. It is such a pleasure to finally have my great friends, the Johansens, on my show today. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you for having us, Tom.
And thank you, Jen, so much for coming in today.
Of course.
For purposes of transparent, we're all transparent here on the aisle with Tom Eller. I just want to share why this is such a big deal, to get these two sitting across from me in the podcast studios at Channel 8. This is kind of like opening night. We had our dress already. Okay, these two good sports were in here previously, and we taped what I thought was just like a fabulous show. I mean, when I sitting here with our producer Alan, when he approached me to do my own podcast in February, my mind immediately started clicking about all the great people that I can talk to. Yeah. Having this platform to delve deeply into the arts, and is my goal, partly my goal, and I've been pretty successful bringing actors and dancers and artists themselves, because I want to open the curtain and let people see, what it's like to live as an artist in Indianapolis, Indiana. Mm-hmm. Can you make a living at it? How do you pull it off if you have a day job? What does it mean to you? All that kind of stuff. I think it's important for people to know what, quote, the lifestyle of a performing artist is. Sure. So in any case, they came in and we did this, what I thought was a great show, and I think I covered all the bases. And then I had to contact them later, or Alan did the dirty work, and then I contacted them later to let them know that, I hate to tell you this, but the show, it's not going to happen because it wasn't recorded because of technical glitches. And it's like, it's so embarrassing for me.
It's fine. Tom, I thought we were terrible there.
Really?
Oh, we were.
Well, so now it's not a mystery to you. So if I forgot any of those fabulous questions I asked, just jump in.
Okay.
But let's start. Okay. And then, I've had all of and to be transparent, I want my listeners to know anyway, I'm going to have surgery next week or 2 weeks from now, and so I'm stockpiling shows. So this show will air, will be available, will drop a few weeks from now. But that's just to let you know that we're recording this, and that's why I was really anxious or eager for you guys to come in. Mm-hmm. So, but I just saw, let me start with, I was just really thrilled to see that you recently had an anniversary. I saw your post, and it was such a sweet picture of the two of you having dinner.
Breakfast. Okay, it was breakfast.
Okay, was it? Okay, so tell me, how many years? Remind me.
19. We just celebrated 19 years of marriage on the 13th of August.
How does it feel to have experienced each other for those years?
Experienced each other.
We've had quite a ride, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's a long time. It's a long time to be with someone.
Well, these days it is.
So many people, when they've gotten to milestones, and I guess 19, I don't know. There's this good Steely Dan song. They're like, I can't believe it. How did this happen? It seemed to have gone so fast. And I can see that. There's both
ways.
There's a longevity to it, but also it's like, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And I have to admit, we got to the point where, was it the night before our anniversary?
Yeah.
Jen goes, tomorrow's our anniversary. And I was like, I had absolutely no clue, none. But I came to. I like sucked it up, and I nailed some good gifts and a card.
Yep.
You know, so I'm grateful for the reminder, Jen.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Anytime.
Okay, so let's take people back. Where did you meet and how?
Oh God, it's the classic like two actors. We met at an audition.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the old church at the Phoenix.
Yeah, for a play called Lunching that we always say, thank God we both didn't get in that show. Because if we had both gotten in, we probably wouldn't be here right now.
Why is that?
Well, it was, so I was cast in it, and it was about two couples having affairs with each other. Who cares? You know what I mean? It just was like, we were just like, well, okay.
And not to disparage the playwright or anything, but honestly, when I read the play, I was like, I hate all four of these people.
Yeah.
I hate them. Like, I wasn't rooting for anybody.
No.
I was rooting for them to jump off a bridge. I don't know, but like, I think there was something about, like, all right, Jen did that show. I think the cool thing was just meeting, because I
was pretty new to this scene at that point. So, I mean, I knew of some people, but I didn't know the people. And I saw Rob in the lobby. We were preparing to read.
There's probably like 20, 30 people there.
Yeah.
And I totally, like, my antennae noted Jen. I was like, who's that? And one of my friends was like, oh, yeah, she just moved back from New York. She was trying out acting in New York, and she moved here. And, you know, of course, I'm a big dog person. They mentioned that she worked at Broad Ripple Animal Clinic, and I was like, wait, what? She's an actor who likes dogs? Okay, I got to meet this woman. And before we had even spoken to each other, we were on stage reading a side for the play. And really about 99.9% of my brain and my heart and everything else was like, oh my God, this woman is really hot and awesome and funny and oh my God. And I was trying to act, but also was like humming. Oh my God. So
Yeah, and I definitely had the butterflies too for you right away. I mean, I noticed you in the lobby before we went in together. And
nice.
Yeah.
That
It was
is
cool.
That is the definition of chemistry.
Now, before we, and I have a confession.
Transparency. We're
We're
all
all
about transparency.
transparent. We didn't find out about casting for several weeks after that, and I was very curious about Jen, and I went into the Phoenix, and you know, Brian Fonseca and I were pals. Now, this is the truth. I walked in, and on the top of Brian's desk was Jen's resume. And I was like, I mean, I'm not moving any papers. It's right there. And I did it. I took down her phone number. And I hemmed and hawed for, I think, a day or two. Like, should I call? Is this... Yeah, it probably wasn't appropriate, but I took it down. I called her. She answers the phone, and I'm like, hey, Jen, it's Rob Johansen. And she was like, hey.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, good. She remembers me, and she sounds happy that I'm calling. I'm like, have you heard anything about that show? And she goes, no. And you can chime in if you want, or I can just write out this story. She goes, no, I'm actually out of town. I'm in New Jersey. And I was like, no way, I grew up in New Jersey. And she's like, yeah. Oh, well, I'm at this nice, quaint town called Westfield. I was like, oh, that's my hometown. And I'm thinking right away, we're going to get married. Like, she's in my hometown. This is meant to be. She goes, yeah, I'm about to have dinner at this place called Ferraro's. I said, that's my favorite pizzeria, and I worked there, and oh my God. And I'm like, this is the greatest. And she goes, yeah, my boyfriend and I are here. He has friends out here.
Oh.
And I crumpled.
Yeah.
And
you tried to tap dance your way out of, like, you were just, okay, cool.
oh, cool, yeah, great.
Cool.
Oh, great, I'm glad your boyfriend. Great.
Yeah.
And I was, in my back of my mind, I was like, just keep her on the phone for like 4 minutes so you don't clearly have a a meltdown, a depression in front of her. So we talked for a couple minutes. We promised, like, well, if you hear anything about the show, we'll call each other. Have fun in Westfield. I hung up the phone, and I sat on my kitchen counter until it got dark. And I didn't turn on a light. I hadn't dated anyone for a while, and I really, for like that 15-minute phone conversation, I was like, I've met my wife. This is amazing. Well, I did.
Yeah.
Just didn't know at that moment.
It would be a few months before I got out of that terrible relationship. And
what was your reaction to what was your reaction to this conversation?
I mean, I thought it was amazing. I was psyched that he was calling me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, okay, he wants to talk to me about. I mean, I loved it. I thought the connections were uncanny.
Was it hard for you to tell him that you had a boyfriend, though?
I don't know that it was. I don't remember. I really don't remember. I mean, it was a fact, so. Oh, well.
It didn't come up for a while, so maybe you were.
Maybe I was.
That's a great opening for a comedy. It really is. I was all drawn into that.
Yeah.
And you know what's really cool? Years and years later, after we were married, we went back to Westfield.
That's right.
And we went to the pizza place. And
Yep.
Okay, listen, it's time for me to insert myself into this. And guess what? My best friend, is this a Westfield where Whitney is buried? In the cemetery there, Whitney Houston. That's her hometown.
Are you Westfield, New Jersey?
Could
be.
Is it just like this really pretty kind of village?
It's
the Garden State, New Jersey, not the waste brown strip next to Manhattan.
Most people from
Indiana
think New Jersey is just that.
And people can't wonder, like, why is it called the Garden State? It's on their license plate. The place is a pit.
Yeah.
But when I went there, my best friend, as I said, grew up there. I'll have to tell him about the two of them. Well, he doesn't live here anymore. He lives in Chicago.
Okay.
But that's great.
It's a gorgeous town.
It really is. Yeah. And it's very close knit, is it not?
Yeah, it's a nice village. I mean, I had great friends when I was there. I miss it.
The village itself is just really rustic and quaint and all that.
It was years ago. It's gotten a little corporate.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Rob Whitney is buried there, and it draws, like, all of these tourists from all over the world, to the graveyard there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, that's a great story. And so you guys continue to... You've been in Indianapolis for how long? And how did you both get here?
Well, I'm from here. Originally, I grew up here. As Rob mentioned earlier.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to Park Tudor, second grade on.
Okay.
So, and I still have very, very close friends
you got
from
a
that
great
time.
education.
I did, yeah. That's where I fell in love with theater, really because it's, obviously known for its academia. I was not... I was actually diagnosed with ADD later in my life, but I struggled a lot in school. And when I was growing up, dyslexia was the only sort of learning difference that was really known or acknowledged. So I actually ended up going through a lot of IQ testing and all this stuff that we don't even need to go into. But I had a lot of insecurity around the academia portion of things. My interest was there, but I just had a hard time really doing well with tests and things like that. So finding theater there in elementary school and then on through high school really helped give me confidence. And I felt like it was something I had a natural aptitude for. And I just leaned into that.
And would you say you met your tribe there too? Because I know if you have difficulties such as you had, it's hard to make friends, is it not?
I have always been able to make friends. That's been one of my skill sets from the get-go. My mom would tell a story because my dad left when I was 2, so raised by a working single mom. And she would take me to summer camp, and she'd drop me off at a place that I'd never, when I was like 7 years old, I remember she dropped me off, and I didn't know anybody. And by the time she picked me up, like everybody was like, "Bye, Jenny, see ya." You know what I mean? Like that's like my superpower. Really was making friends.
That's the opposite of what you hear from so many actors, that they are like shy and withdrawn.
Sure.
But when they blossom when they're on stage.
Sure.
But that wasn't you.
No.
You know.
Well, yeah. I think I did have some shyness, and I did have some shyness too. But I think I've always been more of an extrovert. I mean, I think I do have some introvert characteristics, but I'm definitely more of an extrovert.
And after Park Tudor, where did you go on?
So after that
college?
long stay at one school, I hopped around to lots of schools. So I ended up, I didn't actually complete my college degree until I was in my mid-30s. But I had started studying theater. I ended up at Hanover College with a really terrific director and mentor, Tom Evans. Very small department. Just was really encouraging. Basically said, if you can do anything else, do it, because this is really hard. But if you can't not do it, I think you got a shot, and that meant the world to me.
Tom Evans, he's a very prestigious reputation. Is he still alive?
He is, yeah.
Okay.
Are you
still in contact with him?
Yes. And he and his wife, Barbara, split time between their small apartment in New York and actually a property still down in Hanover.
Wow.
So I get to see him once in a while and have some email correspondence.
Okay, so when did you graduate? You said that you completed your degree when you were in your 30s.
Yeah, so I went to Hanover. I then left Hanover to pursue, I got the acting apprenticeship at Actors Theater of Louisville. Okay. And sort of on the momentum of that, and I was 22, moved to New York with about half of my cohort from the apprenticeship. And really no focus beyond just get out there and audition. And it was tough. And I was out there for about 2.5 years. It was just not my city. I didn't like who I was going to have to be to stay there. Kind of a thicker skin, all of these, and I think I just didn't have any real focus. I wasn't like joining a program or, you know what I mean? So I didn't have that kind of structure to ground me. I was working in restaurants, and I had a wonderful time. It's a good chapter of my life, but I basically came back here to sort of lick my wounds and think, what's next? And
you have that quintessential kind of, you hear this a lot from people who've gone to New York and they chose not to remain for whatever reason, but they all say the same thing. At least I don't ever have to regret that I didn't try it.
Absolutely, and I would have.
There is such a thing?
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think, I don't know that I thought when I came back here that I would stay here, but that's what happened. So I got this job at the Broad Ripple Animal Clinic and client service representative. I don't have any vet tech training or anything, but so I was answering phones and pulling files and getting meds together and things like that. And I thought maybe I should finish my degree. But I was self-conscious. I find this adorable now. I was self-conscious about being a 26-year-old, non-traditional student. And like I said, I'd gone to a few schools at this point. So I decided to go to IUPUI. I figured I'd be able to blend in there the best. But of course, I couldn't have a theater degree, so I had to focus on communications. And it was almost like starting over with so many things.
Were you a student of the Webbs, the couple?
I know them,
For
but
those
I was not.
They, Dorothy and her husband, what was his first name? Whatever. The Webbs.
They had a little theater.
They had a little theater, and they trained a lot of Indianapolis actors, and some who went on to have great careers. John Sarno, for instance, is always raving about his IUPUI years. Do you know John? He's an actor, director, lives in New York City. He actually did some work at Broad Ripple Playhouse and at Phoenix under Brian. By the way, of course, we're going to talk about Brian at length at some point. But Rob, how about you? Tell me about how you tell me about your educational background.
I went to a real small undergrad school in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. If you don't know Wilkes-Barre, it's right next to Scranton. So if you know The Office, that's where The Office took place. But when I joined Wilkes, I think we had 7 theater majors in the whole school. And I loved the size of it because you did everything. You could be a lead in the show and be the master carpenter, I think I did 16 productions in 3 years there, which is a lot. And Then I went to L.A. for 1 year, which was dumb, real dumb. I had a really good time. I like that Jen went to New York. I went to L.A. because I was from New York. I knew one person in Los Angeles.
Did you want to be a film star?
No, I was a mess. I graduated from I was going to say high school. I graduated from college, and was really lost. Like first off, I never thought I could make a career through acting. I just thought, well, that's something fun you do in school. And now you got to get a real job. So I got easily the worst job I've ever had in my life for 6 months, and I don't need to go into that. But there's good stories there, and I was having dreams every night that my teeth were falling out because I was just stressed and I hated my life. I called an old professor of mine who lived in L.A. and Walter Kelly. He's no longer with us, but I remember on the phone he was like, "Rob, you need to become an Angelino." And so I moved. I saved $2,000. I drove my old car out cross country, had a great adventure, but realized quickly, I was like, LA was a dumb choice for me as far as acting goes. I did 2 shows out there, 2 theater shows, and the first one was Taming of the Shrew. The entire cast was talk about mailing in performances, unless they found out there was somebody in the audience that they wanted to impress. Then they were mugging and changing the blocking so they could be in the spotlight and everything. It was a mess. So anyhow, I quit acting out there, and I wound up working at a health food store and teaching aerobics, which was great. I was having a good time, but I was spinning my wheels. And then I heard about grad schools that pay you to be there. I didn't know that was a thing, but long story too long, I wound up getting offers. I auditioned for a bunch of schools, and I got offers from Rutgers and Penn State and IU.
Wow.
And I was still living on I had moved back to New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, and all my family thought, where's he going to go, Rutgers or Penn State? And after looking at all 3 schools, I chose IU because I thought I would matter more there. I never thought that I'd do well in New York. I thought it was too big. I knew LA was too big for me. And I thought IU, I'll make a difference there. And I did, and I loved it.
The MFA program.
Yeah. And then Dale McFadden, a great acting teacher there and director. He directed at the Phoenix for years. He was the first person that I met, and he left a real deep imprint on me, and we're still good friends now. Mm-hmm. So I graduated from IU. I tried Chicago briefly, but then I kept getting drawn back to Indiana. I got my first offer for an IRT show in '96, I think it was, A Midsummer Night's Dream. And that was my first show. And now I can't believe it. Talk about like being married for 19 years. I don't like to blow the horn, but this is a cool thing.
It's worth saying.
You know, you choose where you live, and you hopefully make an impact. Mm-hmm. Two milestones for me. When I was at IU, there was a beautiful theater called Brown County Playhouse in Nashville, Indiana, that was under the auspices of IU. I have the fortune of being the most cast person in Brown County history. And when I was told that by Marilyn Norris, this a lovely woman who used to work at IU, she said, "Rob, I want to tell you, as you sign this contract, you have now become the most cast actor in Brown County history." 2 things happened in my mind. I was real happy and also going, well, these are my life choices. You'll never hear that you're the most cast Broadway actor or whatever. This is where you wanted to live, and it's great. Mm-hmm. And along with that, and I'm real proud of both of these things, there's only 4 actors in IRT's history that have been in over 50 productions, and I'm very lucky to be one of them.
Well, that's wonderful. And you know, it's another reason I wanted you on the show and why you were at the top of my list. I've been covering theater, as you know, for nearly 45 years as a critic and a arts journalist, and there are very few people like you and Jen who can claim that you make a living at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have other interests, and we'll get into animals, because I'm an animal lover as well.
I know.
And I happen to think there are some similarities amongst people who love the arts and animals.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oftentimes I find we all have the same kind of souls and empathy and compassion and kindness. I like to think that anyway.
Yeah.
But that's been my experience. But anyway, the fact that you've been able to make a living and that you've done the work that you've done, and I could say comfortably that I've seen a great deal, majority of your body of work. I truly believe that's the case. If I go back and look at all the stuff I've written about both of you, it could be a book. The reviews, though, and I don't believe, I've said this before, I don't believe in professional distance because many of the people that I cover are my friends because I also am an actor and, I have my foot in all kinds of things.
Sure.
And of course, the venues that you've worked at, we have a lot of people in common. But let's talk about your careers in general. Okay. And they involve the IRT and the Phoenix prominently, right? Yeah. So let's talk about your shared history. Let's start with Brian Fonseca. And for those who don't know who Brian is, Brian unfortunately passed away from COVID. It'll be 4 years this year. Yeah, it's been 4 years. And his loss has been profound for me and for the two of you, I know, because you also had close relationship with him. And I was one of the founders of the Phoenix Theater. That's probably one of the things I'm most proud of. I remember when Brian showed up at who she eventually became a board member, but she hosted a gathering of about 10 of us, people that Brian knew, and he invited these people to her home, and I'll just never forget him standing there in the living room as we're munching on our appetizers, and he's making a pitch for the Phoenix Theater. This is the theater that I'd like, and many of these were his supporters from the Broad Ripple Playhouse. Sure. And, that's how it started. Yeah. And, we all raised our hand and we were in, and that was it. It was like Mickey and Judy. Let's put on a show. But it's like, let's do this theater. Yeah. Indianapolis needs this theater. Yes. With all due respect to all the other theaters who were turning out, Harvey and, some of those, with all due respect to those kind of shows. But it was like, War Horses and just the ordinary, but there wasn't anything edgy or special going on. And so it was Brian, who I like to think educated at least 2 generations of Indianapolis audiences. And, many of us have seen a lot of his work, and much of it had been on Broadway within the last 2 years.
Right. Amazing.
Who gets
get all
to
that
experience
stuff.
that? What community? And we did. Yeah.
Yep.
So talk about Brian and your experience with the Phoenix Theater. And, it continues. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that obviously our meet cute story of meeting in the lobby of the old Phoenix. That was that show that I was cast in. Was directed by Dale McFadden, previously mentioned, but it's like this was my first opportunity. Like once I got in the door there, that's when I started sort of shifting my focus away from finishing the degree and going, okay, well now I've got a job at this, very important theater, and I want to keep going and building on that. So it was really sort of that house has a very, very much sort of propelled me to keep pursuing the acting right away. And it wasn't, gosh, what year was that?
Oh my God. 01 or 02? 02, I think.
I think 02. And then, so I have had a lot of great experiences at the Phoenix. And what's crazy to me, because I feel like I had so many close connections with Brian is that I think he only directed me one time. Isn't that crazy?
Really?
In Vanya and
And
Masha.
it was, Vanya and Sonia and Masha
my
and
gosh.
Spike.
One
But
of
I
my-
felt like, but that's crazy when I look at, and because I just feel like he was a part of, and he was a part of everything, certainly as producer, and like he was in and giving notes, and he was a part of things, but that was the only show I was directed
One of
by.
my all-time favorites.
That was a
Jen.
really
Oh my
fun
God, who else
production.
is in that show?
Diane Condrat and
Who
Chuck
is now out in
Goad.
Seattle.
Chuck Goad.
Chuck
who was
Gold,
terrific.
long-time Indianapolis actor.
Yep.
And Dale, not Dale, a young man went out to L.A. with
Pete.
with Lisa Ermel now,
Yeah,
an actor.
Pete Lindblom and Ashley Dillard.
Yeah.
So fun. It was what a great script, and he did a great job with it.
Didn't
It
you
was a
guys
great
do it
production.
twice? Or?
I did a production of it actually the following year at the Human Race.
Okay, right.
So I
okay.
have done the role
Yeah,
twice, but different productions.
And we're going to talk about Human Race too, because you have quite a history there.
I
in
do.
Dayton, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dayton.
So, when was the last thing? Okay, you recently. Well, I want to talk about SPAY. I mean, it's there's something associated with that too. It was kind of a train wrecker.
Yeah.
But what is the last production that you acted in at the Phoenix Theater? Remind me.
In the
basement here.
Did you do well? You did something for Summit there. It's not a theater. It wasn't.
do you mean in the newer space?
Yeah, the newer
in the newer
space.
space.
Yeah.
The last Phoenix production would have been Wild Horses,
Okay.
which was the one-woman show that Constance Macy and I alternated doing the role.
Yes, I saw that. Yes. Yeah.
But I've been in the space a lot because I was lucky to do the Zach and Indy Shakes production of Julius Caesar, where I played Brutus. And then I directed for the first time for American Lives Theater. I directed SPAY.
So
earlier
you
this
have
summer.
a long history at both the church, and again, for our listeners, the church was a venue, a former church located in Chatham Arch, and they left there to be housed in the current space. What was it, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
18? Was it 18,
Yeah, it was-
And
2018?
they're now ensconced in a multi-million-dollar beautiful facility right on Illinois and the Cultural Trail right downtown across from Scottish Rite, for those who aren't familiar with what we're talking about. And Rob, tell me about your relationship with Brian first of all. I know last time during our dress rehearsal, we all expressed our fondness for him and just how what a shock it was, and still is. I still can't believe it.
Since we're being transparent, and I think Brian would love this, Brian and I had a really, really special relationship, and that included wonderful things, and that included hard things. There was a stage manager, the lead stage manager of the Old Phoenix, lovely woman named Chelsea Stauffer. Both Chelsea and I come from really big and really dysfunctional families, where there's a deep, deep love. There's a lot of addiction. There a lot of difficulties, but most over it's love. And we both used to say, we get along really well with Brian because of the families we come from, because we can have one day where we are in a really tough spot with we're argumentative and problematic, and it's like I want to leave, this sucks, and then the next day it's great. I want to be front-footed with that by saying that it absolutely was not hearts and flowers, but it was one of the most loving relationships that I've known, in that he trusted me as an actor. He liked me as a human. He would ask things of me that, some people would be like, "You're an equity actor. You can't go put out traffic cones for Brian," And I was like,
I can.
Yes, I absolutely can. I understand. This is the Phoenix. It's okay. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to stop my warm up. I'm going to go put out traffic cones for him, and then it'll be fine. But you talk about Brian finding these projects, which it's like, how did you get shows like Sweat? Or The Cripple of Inishman, these shows that were just on Broadway.
A Longtime Companion, the list goes on
Yeah.
and on and on.
And here's the really cool thing. Like, he would come to me and say, like, I want you in this show. I want you in this show. I trust you for this show. And I had to audition sometimes, but I think I had gotten to a point where he was like, we understand how we work together. I like working with you. I trust your talent. And to be offered stuff rather than like, well, you gotta tap dance for this. And auditioning is great. But man, that's really special.
Well, Brian took a lot of heat from some people that, I see it as it's a form of repertory. You pick people you work with before because you trust them, and so and people complain that he precast people and that sort of, that he had favoritism going on and blah blah blah, but he had a really good instinct about casting and he was really good at it. So,
and the only thing that I would say is, at least if he had run like an audition and already had a cast, that's, I could see people getting upset about that, but I think most everybody in their career have great moments where they're like, oh my God, I got offered a role just out of the blue.
Your comment as well about how he trusted actors. I know my own, I was in about 2 or 3 plays that he directed, and I was, at the time I was really intimidated. Brian was my friend, and I was one of his board members, but I also was one of his actors, so I had to compartmentalize all of these relationships I had with him. And he did that frequently with a lot of people, And yet, on stage, I was really intimidated by the fact that he didn't give much direction to actors.
Yeah.
You only heard something from him if he didn't like it.
Yeah, right.
And that was really hard for me to navigate. I didn't have the kind of experience that you did or the training. Well, I had some, but not the level you did. But, finally I got used to that and was able then. It actually gave me more freedom, because I got rid of that insecurity.
I feel like Brian, and this was his MO, and this is a positive and a negative. People would be like, he casts people that he knows are going to find their way in this role. And that was the truth. I mean,
I had a hard time.
I
remember because I was like, but I would just go to him and say, is this okay? Like, this moment, is that clear to you? And he'd be like, oh, yeah. So but rather than me going, okay, he's not saying anything, is that because he thinks he can't change anything or he's just given up on me? I mean, it's just easy for our dumb actor brains to think that we're just doing a terrible job, but really he was,
I have to, and that show was so brilliant. And before we get off the Brian, the Phoenix, I have to say, doing 4 very Phoenix Xmas shows. Highlight them. One of them, I'm lucky I have a lot of highlights. Man, I wouldn't trade that for anything because I love sketch comedy. I love being a dumbass. And Brian starts celebrating Christmas in July.
Yeah, right.
And the skits that we found, and the he asked me to do aerial silks, which was insane. We had a ball. My God, I love Christmas Carol so much, but I'm really grateful for those 4 years.
The last, and I don't know, I should post it sometime, but the last interview he did was with yours truly. I took my tape recorder or my phone over to the Fonseca Theater while he was still alive, and he had little Buddy, his adopted dog. Were you responsible for little Buddy?
Yes, I did. I set them up.
Did he find a good home, little Buddy?
Oh, yeah.
And I took the last photo of the 2 of them together as well to use in my in my story and my online column profile. But Brian had Christmas music playing, and it was like the middle of the summer.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Actually, it's just a couple of months before he passed away, so it would have been like in June. Yeah. Christmas. He was getting ready for Christmas in July.
Yeah, that's right. He loved it.
And I just got the biggest kick out of that.
Yep.
But, I'm sure you had lots of things in common with him. Of course, the fact that he was, part Mexican, and I'm Mexican as well of heritage. We both loved Day of the Dead. My house is filled with it. His house was, and so on and so forth. So, But anyway, just so many fond memories. I'm sure you'll agree, to see him get the kind of recognition that he did in the New York Times and CBS and NBC and NPR locally. I mean, it proved how he helped to change literally our culture in Indianapolis, central Indiana, not Indiana. Do you agree?
Yeah.
And I think it does go on. I'm real happy that our friend Constance is heading up the Phoenix.
And last time you were on, again during our dress rehearsal, we talked because I wanted to know what you thought of the theater landscape, and we all agreed that it's really heartening to see all the younger people out there creating, making art. Is it not?
Yes. 100%.
And I see a lot of these people like Chris Saunders, who you're on his board of American Lives Theater.
Yes.
He was on the podcast with Casey Ross, and I see them as I call them descendants of Brian Fonseca.
Absolutely.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And I am happy that, Jen and I were part of a theater company called Shadow Ape years ago. And that was one of the first offshoots. Here are a bunch of independent artists that are coming together to try and produce some things that don't get produced in town, akin to what Brian was trying to bring to the Phoenix. And I look back almost 20 years ago, and I look at the town, how many theater companies there are now. And not to say, that's going to sound like, Rob's going to say Shadow Ape was but honestly, back then, there weren't a lot.
No, there weren't.
Right.
So I like to think we had a little bit of
sort of jump-starting.
Remind me of the sketch, which I shall never forget. The one with the candy Easter bunnies. What are they called?
Not a Peep. That was our favorite one that we
never recorded.
We never videoed that.
And tell my listeners what that was. What was it called?
Okay.
Yeah.
We did that at Fringe, and you know what?
What was the title again?
Not a Peep.
Not a Peep.
And that's, the Peep. So here's the deal with that. I'm a fight choreographer.
Oh, of course.
I had just finished choreographing 2 different Romeo and Juliets, and I'm almost at 30. I don't need to do it again. But I had done that, and they were both really kind of depressing productions. And I was like, I want to do a funny fight scene. Where would be the funniest place to see a fight to the death?
Right.
As I'm thinking this, I went to pick up our taxes, me and Jen. And I went into this office where it was old
Panels.
fake wood paneling.
Low ceilings.
Low
beige.
ceiling.
Everything is beige.
Everything's beige.
The people
that
are
work
beige.
there wear fake paneling. And they're the
fluorescent lighting.
Yeah. And all these people are just, hi, can I hear your taxes? And I'm looking around and I'm like, I want these people to fight to the death. So we made this office sketch, Jen, Constance, and Ben Tebby, and I directed it for the most part.
Yeah.
And they played these really nebbishy office workers that worked, and we
the music of the... So we didn't speak, which was another reason that the whole show was called Not a Peep, because we never spoke. Yeah. But we made music. We made a soundscape out of office...
Typewriters, paper shredders, staplers, as many different office sounding things.
Yeah, so we made a sort of
rhythm.
musical landscape using office supplies, and those were the only sounds. And then we would have a break.
The office workers would have a break, and we decided they all have their idiosyncrasies. Jen's was to work out. So on her little break, she got out a physio ball and was
I would do
doing
crunches.
Constance was reading romance novels.
She was Miss Lonely Hearts.
And Ben took out a 4-pack of Peeps.
Marshmallow Peeps.
And he would eat...
He had earbuds?
He had earbuds, and he would eat one... At each break, he'd eat one so reverently that Constance and Jen were looking like, damn, that's good-looking Pete.
Yeah. Something to that.
There's
Maybe it's
something-
Nirvana.
Yeah, maybe that's the life, that's where you find heaven. So he eats one, they go back to work, and now during work, they're looking at Ben and looking at each other. They eat the next Peep, and they're getting more interested. Well, by the time it gets to there's just one Peep left, Ben has to go to the bathroom because he's eaten too many Peeps.
Yeah, I guess.
Constance and Jen look at each other, and they dive at the Peeps, and it's a fight to the death.
It's a fight to the death.
Ben comes on, and the three of them, I mean, it was like a 2-minute,
Yeah.
beautiful fight to the death.
Yeah.
And on opening night, a can of soda fell, broke open, and exploded on stage, and is whirring around like a sprinkler
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
And they slided their way around it, and it was
People
great.
thought it was a part of the show.
Well,
looked-
if we
that night it
if we
was.
could have made it a part of the show, we would have.
And Jen's good friend Jay Ferguson, his favorite part of the show that he still cites, everybody but Constance dies. Spoiler alert. Jen dies because Ben comes running at her from out of nowhere, holding her physio ball. Hits her in the head, and I said, Jen, my direction to you is, when you get hit in the head, you have to go from standing to lying prone in no seconds.
Oh, my goodness.
And she literally, it was like, bam, boom,
Yeah, dead.
And Jen, it was one of the funniest
It was
things I've
great.
ever
You know, that Shadow Wipe really did some work that was very, very original, and, you know, it could hold a candle to anything SNL was doing. I really feel that you performers are of the same caliber. Any chance someone's going to revive Shadow Wipe? I mean, we need it. We need more laughter in this town.
Well, sure, but I don't know that that's on us. I think there are people doing
Like Defiance
really
Comedy.
good, like Defiance Comedy.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You've got a show. By the time this airs, it may be over, sadly.
Maybe.
But talk about it in the present.
I love this because I've been with Defiance Comedy for 10 years. It is my happy place. I call it Theater Christmas when we do our fringe shows. And I'm real happy because tonight is Jen's first Defiance show.
Yeah.
She's taken the stage with us.
Oh, you're in the
I am
show
in
as
it.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that awesome?
I need to come. I need to go see it.
Yeah.
But, of course, you know, I've got something coming up.
I know
but
you do. Well, we have tonight, tomorrow. I know
Well,
we're plugging a
yeah,
show that
we don't need to- we'll
we
talk
have
about
this
it.
weekend, Tom.
Saturday? Are you
Yeah, we're doing a
something?
show Saturday. If you
I'd
can.
love to come see it, yeah.
All
I'd
right,
love to write
okay.
about it. Okay, go on. What you were saying about Jen being in it?
Yeah, it's just my
Your
first
first
time.
time.
I've been coming to the shows and having a ball because they're just silly.
And I'm sure it's something really screwish.
Oh, it's really-
It's very serious, Tom. It's a very serious. It's Chekhovian.
Right.
Oh gosh! Now I know
No.
I have to see it. You know, we can't. We just got a little bit of time left, but we can't go without talking about your IRT history. But let's give a shout out to Janet Allen because I know that
Yes.
she's prominent in your, you know.
No way we have a career without
in
Janet.
your
No way.
career. So let's give some kudos to Janet if she's listening. Hopefully, she will be listening.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The greatest. What an inspiration, an incredibly strong,
Janet
smart
Allen,
woman.
by the way, for our listeners, I was accused of being an insider because I never tell people about all these names I'm dropping. And so I have to explain to everybody, which makes sense. But who is Janet Allen?
Janet Allen was the artistic director of the Indiana Repertory Theater for
I think 28 years.
Oh, we're not going to get this number right. A long time. An incredible force who did a lot before I came on the scene, was doing a lot to really bring the local artists into that building and give them sustainable, lives, really. I mean, I think had it not been, and early in my career, in 2003 is my first project at the IRT, where I took my equity card. And had it not been for being in that fold, I don't know that I could have thought that because I'm not a singer and a dancer. I don't have, I can't, Beef and Boards is not going to be an artistic home for me. Had I not been sort of brought into the fold of the IRT, that was just a blessing for me. And so, Janet is just an incredible mentor, and she's incredibly loving and direct, and you
can say that again.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Helps.
That's what I
helped
loved
me
about
start
her.
to thicken my skin
you knew
too.
Where you stood with
you did.
her.
Yeah, and I it's not a surprise. Of course, I wanted to make her proud. I mean, immense respect for that woman, and her opinion mattered to me, a lot. And I wanted...
I like what you said about how, up to that point, Tom Haas and the founders, they often cast from people in New York. They held New York auditions. Yeah. And Janet came into town, and, a lot of people made her aware of sort of like this perception that there was a town and gown mentality, that local actors were kind of blown off and they weren't taken seriously. And Janet really changed all that.
Yeah,
she made sure that local artists got a chance to shine on that stage.
Yep.
Am I correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding. I mean, this was happening before I came on the scene, but yes, I think she really did a lot to shape.
Well, you and Rob are certainly examples of how, good art and artists are everywhere, not just Manhattan.
Right. That's right.
That's right.
That's right. I mean, theater is not just Broadway. Theater is, why can't I think of the word? I'm
Defiance comedy.
No, but I'm just thinking of all the cities in this nation that are doing
regional theater.
Yeah, thank you.
Regional theater is
that's the sort of heart of theater, and that's what a lot of people are going to experience first. If they never see a Broadway play, this is what theater is for them. And
professional theater.
And just having an opportunity to be in this city, having had the opportunity to work so much in this city over the last 20 years.
Not to mention having the support of all the incredible designers behind you.
Yes.
All of the
But just building community together, and it's like these are people you'll see at the grocery store or at, you know what I mean? That it's like you really feel a part of the community, I think.
Yeah. And Rob, what was your IRT? Well, it continues. I'm sure they'll ask you back. I mean, I've seen... one role that I just will never ever forget is you're rubbery. You are you're rubbery. You transform.
For 1 minute, I thought you named a character, and I was like, "You're rubbery."
You're nimble.
Oh, thanks.
When you transform, your body. You can do anything with that body of yours. Like one comes to mind. Were you in 39 Steps?
Sure was.
How many characters did you do?
A lot. In the 20s.
Okay, I remember the drag thing you did. Which
Irma
one was
Vep.
that?
Irma Vep.
Oh my! But there was another drag one. You did another drag one, the upper stage. What was that?
Well, I did.
Irma Vep was
Maybe
on the
the
upper
character
stage.
wasn't dragging part anyway.
Yeah.
But you can. There isn't anything that you can't do.
That's very nice of you to say.
Well, I think last time we talked, Jen too. You've done a lot of different characters. You're a great character actor.
Thanks.
And I believed both of you. I've never seen you as character actors. Personality actors. Right. Those who infuse their own personality. And I don't think there are really many of those here in Indianapolis I've seen, but oh boy, we've got some great character actors.
One of my favorite things that I've seen Jen do was Wild Horses. Man, the characters she created were so different. It was, it's funny. We both have done several one-person shows. They weren't anything on my radar like I really want to do a one-person show. I was terrified of them, as you probably should be. But I've done like 5 or 6 full length and then a bunch of other shorter one-person shows. Anyway, I bring that up because when I saw Wild Horses, halfway through it, I was like, how the freak is she doing this? and that's a real testament. I'm like, this is a high wire act that I've done, and I'm looking at my wife going, I don't know how she's doing this.
I didn't know that she had all this in her. Huh?
or just I think there's such an amazing feat that you watch when you watch somebody do a really good one-person show.
Yeah, you two have never done that much together, have you?
I thought you were. I've never done a one-person show with Jen.
Well, you know, I refer to you as the Lunton Fontaines of Indianapolis. For those who don't know, those are two British actors married for 55 years, and they perform together. Also, people like Liz Taylor and I'm blanking on her.
Richard
Burton, and so on and so forth. But anyway, how many shows have you done together?
I don't know.
I don't know the number.
I mean, probably close to 20, maybe.
I would think so.
Okay. So
we've done a number.
We did do a 2-person-ish show named Plaza Suite, Neil Simon Plaza Suite.
At the Brown County Playhouse.
That was my last Brown County.
You know, I want to see
sweet.
the two of you in a production of Private Lives. You would tear that up, don't you think?
I love that show. I love that old Noel Coward piece. And we're going to do a 2-person show directed by our good friend Constance Macy in February, March. It's called
Newsbreak, really?
It's called The Berlin Diaries.
Oh, wow.
And it's just the two of us.
2 characters?
Yeah.
And it's a crazy script, Tom.
Oh, that sounds fabulous.
It's about somebody tracing their roots back to the Holocaust. So it's a darkish piece, but a really interesting thing. There's probably 30 characters in the show, and we both play all the characters. So it's not like Jen's the narrator and I'm everybody she meets. We play
It's very interesting, a very unique style.
When do you get your scripts?
We have them.
We started memorizing it, and then we had to stop because of the Defiance show that we're opening and other things. And then, can we say how much time do we have? Can we talk about your injury?
And Jen, are you doing Yuletide again? And you've run out of all the played all the women characters.
Christmas Carol.
I mean, Christmas Carol.
I am doing Christmas Carol again, and. I've played a lot of the characters.
Well, you've been cast as a man before, so maybe you could do Scrooge someday.
Well, I'm not here to unseat my husband. So.
That's fine. You know what? That'd be fine. I'm doing it for the 4th time this winter, and look, I don't need to go. That's fine. If you want to...
It's not up to me.
I know it's not up to you. But if you want to take it over, I can play...
Wouldn't that be fun? Someone's going to do it sooner or later.
Yeah, sure.
I can play Mrs. Cratchit.
Yeah, you sure could.
I mean, Fezziwig. You could do a great...
I've done Fezziwig
with
once.
me.
Mrs. Fezziwig, you could...
You could do Mrs. Fezziwig.
I could. Yeah.
I love it.
Wow, this has been so much fun. And, I can't thank you again for making my dream come true to have you two on together to chat about your careers. And tell me what, from your heart, tell me what the theater means to you both.
Oh gosh, it's everything. I mean, in a lot of ways, while there are still different interests, because theater is life presented, so you have to have a life to be a storyteller, right? But I think just the opportunity as a performer, the opportunity to go on deep dives into different worlds, things that are outside of my experience, and find the commonality that's going to connect me to somebody who's going through something that I have not experienced. Like, that is always a fascinating ride for me. And I think stories bring communities together. I think it helps us see from what we know is a safe place as an audience. I'm in a safe place to experience this thing that is foreign to me and therefore may be scary to me, but I'm in a safe place to experience it and hopefully change something about how you look at that in the real world. I think it has a profound ability for connectivity and empathy and to be able to see each other, really.
And it goes without saying, in these days of division and polarization, I don't know that everyone's done any tracking, but I would certainly be interested to know if the left and the right saw a certain play that they both identified with.
Right.
You know, wouldn't that be interesting to know what the play, and you don't know whose people's politics are out there, do you?
No.
Yeah. So, Rob, what about you?
Yeah, you bring that up. It's a great bonding factor. And you know, one thing that I love so much is it's irreplaceable. You know, we learned that during the pandemic. Thank God IRT did that season of virtual shows that both Jen and I got to be a part of. But there's nothing like being in the room together, you know? And the great thing is, film is wonderful. All those mediums are wonderful. But when you're in a room breathing the same air with an audience and with the performers, it's truly irreplaceable. And that goes, we're so lucky we make our living, but I have that magic feeling when I'm at IRT, when I'm at the Phoenix, when I'm at Anderson University, where I teach sometimes, where I'm at a grade school who's doing their first production of Christmas Carol. Jen and I went to Irvington Elementary School. They wanted us to like give notes on their first production, and we're in this room, and these kids are nervous and making great strides, and people are laughing, and it's like all from A to Z, from kindergarten all the way through. There's nothing like it being in the room.
Magical.
Yeah, it's magical.
You know, I'm not limited because this isn't sort of broadcast. It's like, okay, hour's up. No. I can't let you go without us talking about critters. Oh my God. You know, I wrote a story about you in my column years back, and I went out to the humane shelter, and oh God, you know, I used to be involved with the city. I was on the advisory board for the care and control, animal care and control, and it was part of my job to, keep track of what was going on there, and I would go to that facility a day in and day out. Of those hardworking people were there. And it was just so heartbreaking to me. I had to do it, but it was so hard. And to go out and visit you and know that you do it consciously, it's become part of your life story. And so you have to tell me about what it's like. And Jen, now I didn't know that you were a vet technician.
I was not a vet technician. I just answered phones and everything.
You went there because you loved animals, right?
Yeah, but I wanted something.
So you both have a deep love.
Oh,
yes.
Sure.
For
yes.
animals.
Yes.
I see your Facebook posts about all your doggies, too.
Yeah.
So...
And hey, one of the first background checks I did on Jen when I was interested in her, I was like, oh, she's got a dog. Okay, we're cool. And it was a rescue dog who was, oh my God, talk about a train wreck of a body.
So you end up having a blended family, did you, at that time?
We did.
Yeah, okay.
We did have a blended family.
We did.
So tell me about your love of doggies. And cats. I presume you like cats, too.
Cats are wonderful.
Okay.
But I'm definitely more...
a dog person.
Well, it's funny that dogs... require a bit more care,
of course,
because they need that exercise. Cats, man, at the shelter have it. Most of them have it really sweet. They share a common room, lots of places for them to jump around, so they get a lot of exercise that way. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, my whole life I have loved dogs. I've had close relationships to dogs. My family's always loved dogs. And I've noted for years that there's a problem across the country, but Indianapolis has a bit of an epidemic in terms of pet population. Here's an interesting stat, and this is a tough stat. You talk about how challenging it is to go to the shelter. It's estimated through Animal Care and Control that 1 out of every 10 dogs in Indiana has a home. So 10% of our dogs have homes. 90% of our dogs either live in shelters or are running stray.
That's shocking. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and part of that problem, if I can advocate a little bit, is it's people not spay and neutering their animals. You know, Bob Barker had it right when he would end The Price is Right, reminding you to spay and neuter your pets. He did that at the end of every show. And, you know, some people took offense to that. Breeders took offense to that. And I'm not saying it's bad to breed dogs, but if it's done responsibly, that's fine. The problem is there are places in our community where people don't walk their dogs; they let them run free, and they're not spayed or neutered. Well, what do you think is going to happen? And you know, mama dogs can become mamas when they're 5 months old. They can. Did you know that a mama dog can get impregnated twice in the same litter by two different papas? So yeah, so population can go. It can become the movie Gremlins very fast. So I'm an advocate to try to control that population and take care of the dogs that we have now.
So people can get involved in this cause. What would you suggest they do? First of all, you're at the Humane Shelter regularly, correct?
I work at the Humane Society and also down at IACS at Indianapolis.
Do you know the website address?
IndyHumane.org, and the IACS one is going to change. That's a government facility.
Yes.
But if you look up IACS, it would come up.
What are immediate needs that people can do right now?
You know, it's great. Anybody, I've had so many people say I could never go in and work with the dogs. It would break my heart. We don't have to. You know, we have some people that just go in and do laundry, which is a constant need. We have people that donate. That's absolutely wonderful. But if you want to be hands-on, you can come in and clean. You can do laundry. You know, there's also foster programs where if you don't want to go into a shelter, but if you have the availability, and you guys listening, this is a huge need. If you think that you can spend a couple of days, a week, a month, taking care of a dog, or a cat, giving them a break from the shelter will save their life. The shelter can be so stressful for an animal, so bringing them into your home gives them a break and also teaches them about what it is to be in a home.
Jen, how do you support this man in the work that he does?
I mean, I try and cheerlead him. You know, I volunteered for a while at Indy Humane and sort of fell off of it really when we had our special needs pup. But it's very hard. I mean, I don't know if I would get back into cleaning or something, but it's hard. It takes a special person. It takes a special kind of person to be able to day in and day out handle the cacophony and the, you know, it's hard work. And I had a lot of pride in doing it, and I'm sorry that I'm not now, and I would like to find my way back to some sort of hands-on support as well. But
maybe we just start fostering a little bit more.
Maybe. But anyway, I just, you know, I'm a cheerleader. He's an amazing man, and that's why I married him.
Well, I as I said earlier, I really believe there is a connection with many of my listeners. Obviously, my audience are art lovers, and they often tend to be animal lovers as well. So maybe you'll, as a result of your making that plug, maybe some people step forward. You guys, again, what a wonderful opportunity this has been for me to get to know you better. You know?
Thank you.
Hey, Tom, real quick, I love that you talked about, like, when people come together, you don't know their political leanings, anything like that. I have had multiple times regarding animals where I am clearly working with somebody who doesn't share my political views. But the fact that we're both working on animal care, we come together. And I really believe, maybe this is oversimplification, if everybody in the country, you take, I'm on this side, you're on this side, here is a dog. Let's take care of him. problem solved. I think we would be fine. I think that's my solution for the division in America.
That's a public service announcement.
That's right.
Maybe I can help put that together
Sure.
for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you on any stage you're going to appear on. And again, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us,
This
Tom.
was real fun.
Our thanks go out to our media sponsor, Urban Times. Urban Times is a monthly news magazine which serves as the official neighborhood newsletter for 16 Indianapolis neighborhoods, offering news about development, arts and entertainment, and from the business community.
Who will take center stage on the podcast next? Your seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez awaits. Follow Tom on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure to visit tomalvarez.studio. Watch Tom every other Thursday on Lifestyle Live on Wish TV, and make sure to listen every week here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.